my people. Ooh, welcome to Tuesday. It's live stream time. I'm over here. It's so weird. I'm there. Hello. Yes, I'm back again. We're going to do some live streaming. My name is Mike Bifulco. I am Director of Technology for thegymnasium.com, which is what you see here. Gymnasium is an online code school where we give away free courses that are self-paced, video-based, free courses on design and development of web technologies. Like I said, I'm Director of Technology. I am the madman behind the technology stack that keeps Gymnasium gymnasifying. Like I said, our courses are all free. We have some really killer courses. You should definitely come and check them out. Today, I'm going to talk about our 3D modeling for virtual reality creation course because it's really very cool. If you haven't done any VR stuff or have wanted to play around with VR stuff, this is a course you can walk through in really a pretty short amount of time and learn quite a bit about what goes into modeling behind VR and AR stuff. You'll cobble together a really cool demo, you'll make some really actually useful, interesting stuff, and you'll learn a lot along the way. And like I said, the course is free, so you should go register for an account and give it a shot. Today, oh dear, hang on, let me shut off my password extension here. Today, we will be working on continuing a project that I've been working on for the past few weeks, which is building out a microservice for Gymnasium using React and Node and a variety of other technologies. Let me even update my description here. Wrangling, iframes. We learned a lot last week. We got pretty far into this project that has been ongoing. And what we are interested in today is taking it to the next level. So we've got a microservice that renders a page that has some interesting job stuff on it. There's some interactivity here, so we can view jobs in all kinds of different places, which is cool. What we want to do now is take these job listings and the content on here and embed it in the Gymnasium website on my local dev environment, and hopefully, ideally, have it dynamically included on the page, fed in some information via URL parameters that we plugged into the service over the past few weeks, and dynamically styled in a way that makes it not look like it's an iframe embedded in the page, but rather it's just sort of a natural part of the page. If that doesn't work, there are plans B and C and D and E and all the way down the alphabet that we can approach to making this work in a way that's more natural. But where I left off last week, I was learning a bit about how it works to style up some iframes. And oh dear, my VM won't start. Interesting. I sure hope this doesn't mean I have to reboot. That would be a problem. Anyway, we want to embed this thing on the Gymnasium website so that it looks like this module here and takes on the styles, etc., that are inherent in this, so that we can replace this module, which is only a little bit dynamic right now, with something that is purpose-built for our needs at Gymnasium, and I should say perhaps our changing needs at Gymnasium. So that's what we're doing. That's the goal, and part of that is my virtual machine cooperating, which it doesn't seem to be. Let's see. Let's try this again. Very confusing. There we go. Okay. That's a little more like it. My environment is much less happy with me when I'm streaming and running a virtual machine and running a Node application and running 2 monitors and lots of tabs and things like that. So like I don't blame it. I'm pushing this poor computer further than it probably wants to go. So everything's a lot slower on stream than it is for me when I'm developing offline, which is unfortunate, but maybe it allows me to explain what I'm doing a little better. Who knows? There's a silver lining in every cloud, as they say. And I'm sure there's a cloud software joke in there somewhere, but who has the time? All right, let's see if this thing actually boots this time, and then we can start to make some forward progress on this bad boy. Machine booted and ready. Nice. Type in my NFS share. Ugh, boy, this happens at probably at least half speed when I am on stream like this. Arg. Come on now. I'm firing up, so this is the OpenEdX environment that I use in my developer environment to run the gymnasium locally, basically. And what I'm firing up is a local edition of that that has the iframe embed that we worked on last week. That will show you essentially where we got to. So, give this thing a minute. Oh, I ran the wrong command. Oh no, oh no. This is a different problem. Okay. Dear. I haven't had to deal with this in a while. Okay. So, this is one of those things that you get used to when working with edX. It looks like my VM didn't shut down properly. Oh yeah, because my laptop froze this morning just before I left off for lunch. So, we have to kill some processes here. And pardon me for a minute while I copy and paste these commands that I have saved into a handy dandy place. Shouldn't take too long. It's only a few commands. Basically, killing and restarting the Mongo process and removing some of the files that it uses to... God. That's not good. Oh boy. Let's see. Nice. Okay. I don't know if that worked, actually. We're going to find out, though. I might have to reboot this VM again. Always a curveball. Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, I'm wondering if there's not really a way to salvage this without going through the process of rebooting this silly VM. So, let me try that one more time. That's frustrating. Okay, what's going on here? So, command not found. Alright, tell you what, let's try and reset this VM one more time. Otherwise, I might have to call a not insignificant audible on this bad boy today. Okay. Bring it back up. In my password upon being prompted. Come on. So much slower. Let's go. Oh, okay. Good. Looks like better luck this time. That was strange. Wonder where that Mongo process is. Luckily, I was able to do all the other things to remove lock files, etc., so it could restart. Okay, so now then, in this localhost 8000 tab will be my dev environment for Gymnasium. This is where like I was saying before, I have a replica of Gymnasium running really slowly on the VM. And if I log in and I go to this demo account, we will see on the right hand side of the page, finally, this is the iframe embed of this page. Look at that. Find work, find work. And we want it to look like this, eventually have all of the right margins, paddings, typefaces, sizes, font weights, colors, etc., etc. And so that is something that is the goal for today. And I'll kind of backtrack a bit and explain what we were working with last week and where things got stuck. Let me pull up the code here. So come on. Okay, this is that's the wrong code. And let me zoom in so you can see. Get our act together here. Okay, so on this page here is the iframe embed, which is here and takes up lots of space. I wonder if I can split this out into a couple of lines. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, so this is what the iframe embed looks like for getting this code there. Last week, I guess I can leave this here. Last week I was playing around with embedding some styles in this to try and make the iframe, where'd it go? Nope. All right, getting my tabs confused here. So what we want to do is make this iframe dynamically sizable so that it fills the vertical space on the screen that its content would fill. In other words, as these job listings change, so for some places there are more or less jobs, like I don't think there were any showing for Japan recently. I basically want this content, account details, to slide up here and happen below the iframe. I'm going to open up my inspector here and drop onto the inspector and click here. You'll see it's a little hard to show, but the iframe, it's hard to show with this inspector open. The iframe itself has a set height of, looks like 720 pixels. You can see here, 720, which is set from, must be this WebKit property. So if we take that off, it zaps right back up. The problem is, if I remove that property and I switch back to something with jobs, you can see that it no longer resizes, right? So the iframe doesn't work in the way that we would expect it to. Now, it turns out that that is a feature, a by design facet of iframes, and so we either need to get creative to find a way around that, or we need to take another approach, basically. And the other approach would likely be removing some of the excuse me, taking out some of the dynamicism from the React app. So in other words, taking these form components out and making the microservice just spit out the list of jobs and have this bit, find work, viewing jobs, all the dynamic stuff on the page be owned by the platform. So it's a little confusing because I've got the Gymnasium running on its own app within edX, running edX, and this iframe is essentially a self-contained bit of functionality. We might have to split that up and then render this content as, I guess it would be static markup on the page, that we go to the API, grab the markup, and render it once rather than giving it a dynamic load. So it would be included in the page as HTML, which is a little less secure, possibly a lot less secure, but more predictable in that I would just be injecting markup onto this page, much in the same way that any of my code is written. So there are some approaches. We've got some options. I'm going to try and figure out what's going on here. So what I wanted to explain, or what I wanted to explore, I'm sorry, was what it's like to do that and then to inject styling into these guys. So let's look at that. So I'm just going to do some searching around. So I guess I should backtrack a bit. Part of my goal with this stream is to show you what the learning process is for stuff like this. So as I run into problems, as I run into things that I don't know how to do, I'd rather display my learning process and show you what that's like, rather than look it all up and basically make it seem like I'm a genius that knows everything, as tempting as that might be. The reality is that I don't know all this stuff, and I want to make that plain to see as I'm doing this stuff, so that if you're faced with similar challenges or even different challenges in your work, you're armed with an approach for breaking down problems into chunks that you can solve. So here's what we're going to do. Iframe height dynamic is what I'm going to search for. And I'm guessing this is going to lead us to a bunch of JavaScript. So you can retrieve the height in iframe's content by using content window.document.body.scroll_height after the iframe is loaded. You can then change the height by doing the following. Iframe ID. Oh, that's cool. That's actually pretty simple. Okay, so let's try that. So part of this is to give the iframe an ID. ID equals jobs, microservice, iframe. We'll call it frame. I don't like iframe. So this ID obviously is a unique identifier on the page. We're going to zip down to the bottom here and embed some JavaScript. And we have, we have jQuery at our disposal, so we're going to use it. And so what this says is create a function. Let's see. So we create this function called iframe loaded. I guess I don't need to use jQuery. That's fine. Wow, look at all this crazy tabs here. Okay, so iframe ID equals document.get element by ID, and then we're going to grab that ID that I just created and immediately forgot. Wow, I really don't want to type iframe. Okay. Jobs microservice frame. Bam, grab that. We'll drop it in here. What this does is it creates an element. So grab the handle for the iframe, or select the iframe by its ID. Then we're going to set its height to its scroll height. This is actually pretty straightforward. And then in my iframe, I'm going to add an onloaded. Which looks like that. Iframe loaded. I wonder if that'll work. Of course, because it's dynamic, I might also need to see if there are events on the iframe that for on change and whatnot. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, that's interesting. Accomplish that by doing the following within the iframe's content scripts. Parent.iframe loaded. Ha, cool. Okay. So first things first, let's refresh this. See what comes back, see if it resizes itself. Ah, I also need to take this away. So, to me, it doesn't look like that worked, but let's drop a debugger line in here and see if this is actually being called. Ooh, it is not being called. Getting an error about a unrelated function. That's because I'm on a funky branch here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Uncaught. No. Ooh. Ah, okay. Yeah, unrelated. Boy. Alright, so what might be happening here is that this script hasn't loaded because it's at the bottom of the page. Let's just drop that in there. That should embed it in the top of the page. Do I get there? No. Oh. There's your problem. That's what the event is called. Okay, sweet. So let's step through this. We have our iframe. And now we set its height to nothing. We set its height to the scroll height, hopefully. And did that work even remotely? I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, does it? Maybe this is because I have some funny display properties set on the iframe from my previous poking around. I'm just gonna nix some of this stuff for now. That means the border will still show up, but I want it to be pretty plain to see what's going on here. I'm also gonna get rid of that debugger line and replace it with a console log. Did I get rid of the debugger? Yes. Okay, let's refresh the page. We'll keep an eye on the console this time. Doctor frame with origin from accessing. Oh, I see. I took out too much. Go through my entire undo buffer here. Sorry, I know this is confusing. Unload, yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're just gonna get rid of. Well, okay, I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. We're gonna find out. Looks like it's working, but then no resizitude happens. Blocked a frame with origin from accessing across origin frame. Let's see. Ooh, interesting. Open source to the rescue. Oh, this is a node package, though. I wonder if there's any way to use this with a normal embed. Okay. Huh, okay. Well, that's a big hammer to hit this with. Doesn't support on cross-domain. That's a good point. Shoot. You know, actually, that's an interesting point. It's seeing these as cross-domain. Huh. Trying a couple of things to see if I can get past this cross-domainery. Some of this might be answerable by DOM configuration. No, okay, that didn't work. It still sees them as cross-domain because they're on different ports. Okay, so let's try embedding that library to see if that works. Really just grabbing two files from a CDN. And possibly these polyfills, but who needs them? So, up to the top, we're going to embed some extra scripts in the header extras. I forget if it's type equals text JavaScript and source. It is source. Okay. The type is unnecessary at this point in history, but what can I say? Creature of habit. Okay, so we got all of the above. These are included. So now the second file, iframeresizer.contentwindow.min.js, is a native JavaScript file that needs placing in the page contained within your iframe. This is designed to be a guest on someone else's system, so it has no dependencies and won't do anything until it's activated by a message from the containing page. Interesting. I wonder if there's an example. Let's see. Resize window or click one of the links in the iframe to watch it. Fail. I clicked close. Okay, so it does work. We're going to do some playing around with this. This is interesting. So let's go back. Okay, actually, hold on a minute. I'm going to go grab a glass of water. My voice is falling apart. And then we'll carry on with this. Be right back. Okay, much better. Cheers. So it looks like I need to embed the second bit, iframe resizer.contentwindow.min.js. This needs placing in the page contained within your iframe. For the page hosting the iframes. Okay. Confusing, because I don't know if there's a way to do that with npm. We can try it though. So we're going to go to, this is the React app. We're going to do this. Feeling less certain about the way to approach this. But it looks like now what I need to do is, so now that I've got those included, I just need to write a small amount of so I called my iframe really should remember this ID. We'll see how well this works. We might choose to not use this approach, but if it works, might be nice. Set up with a style. Done the thing. Now we need to log true. I don't know if we need a log. Well, just to see that this thing is connecting, I'm going to drop it in there. Log, excuse me, true, semicolon. Okay. Let me just check the chat window here. We're all still alive. Lovely. So, we've done that. Something's unhappy with me here. Oh, comma expected. All right. Now let's refresh the page with the console window open and see what we get. Oh, I shut this down, didn't I? Yes, I sure did. Okay. We're back with that. Let's refresh this puppy. Iframe loaded is not defined. Yes, we took that out. And I'm going to say border, no, none. I'm seeing a suspicious lack of logging. Console trace, function toggle, console trace, blah, blah, blah. Well, where's all the logging I was promised? No logging whatsoever. As ever, we're going to put in a debugger to see if we're even getting in here. Ooh, we're not. Pretty sure I got this syntax right. Document ready. Function, it's got a debugger, it's got a whole thing going on. We've included these. Let's try the syntax. There's already a debugger line in there. No worry. Finicky. What is happening? Really weird. There's no way it's not hitting that part of the code. Okay. So what don't you like about this? I am on the absolute struggle bus today if I can't get this in order. Yeah. Wow, how do you like that? I have no earthly idea why it is behaving the way it is. Well, that's all fine and dandy. What does that mean? We'll trace back a little bit here. So I know for a fact I have jQuery on these pages. We can just try it without. Hope for the best. Just gotta give this the right ID. Jobs, microservice, frame. This shouldn't work, or at least I would expect it not to work. Son of a bitch. Okay, worked better. Not perfect, but better. Okay, now I think I need to get the embed code for the content bit. This guy inside of my Create React app. So let's do that. Shouldn't be too hard. So I can confirm that's there by going to this page and taking a look at the network tab. Yeah, okay, it's in there now. Let's refresh this and see what happens. Whoa, it's working. Heck yeah. Nice. That's great. Well, how do you like that? That is one relatively difficult problem solved. That can be made more generic by... Okay, so rather than using an ID here, I'm going to use a, we'll call it Gymnasium Resizable iframe. And I'm going to give this a class of that. Should still work. And so in the future, when I need to do this embed, well, this will change. All the rest of this stuff won't. But this is great. And it works when the content inside of it changes height. That's huge. That's actually really, really great news and worked out relatively well. relatively small addition too. Nice. This is badass. Let's see. I was zooming along there though. Any questions on what all just happened? I know that's a whole lot that I just threw down there. Ship it. Yeah, it's done. Okay, so that is part one of figuring out how to do this. So now I've got an iframe with a dynamic height, which actually I thought that was going to be the big challenge. After last week's stream, I thought that was going to be a pretty gnarly thing to get through, and it wasn't necessarily straightforward. In fact, the NPM package that we just took advantage of could be doing any number of things. I do want to confirm that I don't need to embed both of these in here. So the content window.js only needs to go into the child. So I think if I refresh this now, it'll have one less dependency, and it should still work. Sweet, that's really cool. Wow. Okay. Now, the next bit, which doesn't necessarily have to be a showstopper, but could be problematic. Ideally, what I would like to do is pass all of the styles from Gymnasium down to this component so that it could take on the style rules we have. From what I was reading in a cursory way last week, one of the ways to do that is to ensure that the both the iframe being loaded and the root site, so in other words, my edX install and my iframe here are done from the same domain. And that's the only way that an iframe can share content from its parent. But let's see what we can do. Let's see. Iframe take CSS. I have a feeling this might be more basic than I'm looking for. Yes, this is literally styling the iframe. Styling the contents of an iframe is styling just like anything. If you can't edit the page, you can add an external style sheet or styles right in the document just like you would any other page on your site. Oh my god, this is a little too basic for me. Oh boy, okay. Height, width, remove the border, target for a link. No. This seems like something that's not necessarily intended behavior. Iframe children. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Only works if the content in the iframe is from the same parent domain. To be honest, it might not be worth going down the hacky route of doing that. As long as we've got the size and dynamicism correct, it's really not that much of a problem to include the CSS in this page. Like, it's really not. And cleaner and easier to deal with, and I don't have an entire legacy of edX code behind it. So I might not even bother with that. That might be Justin. It's a bee with an itch. Yeah, I'll say. Justin, this might be a place for you and me to collaborate a bit on doing some styling of this stuff. But to be honest, this feels like a solved problem. What I don't have in place any longer because of the way this project has gone on stream is that This is now breaking, like this is not a this is no longer deployable to Heroku, because when we switched to Create React App, I never updated my circle configs to deploy the Create React app to Heroku. So maybe that's worth doing on stream. Might be. Let's see. I'm going to close everything I've got open. And actually, so I can probably shut down my VM at the moment, which will speed things up a bit. Okay. One of the important things is that tests pass. Test suite failed to run. Your test suite must contain at least one test. That's true. It did run two. Oh, I see. What's in here? Ah, okay. That's cool. Let's look at what's in util. We can write a quick test case. It returns Charlotte for a given lat long for, yeah, okay. Right. I think I can do this. And then so we'll do util dot get market from lat long, and I've got to find the latitude and longitude for Charlotte. Sure, we'll go with right here. Come on, come back. Crying out loud. That's what I want. Without the Z, of course. Oh boy. I think that'll do it. 2 tests passed. Nice. Okay. Cool. Good enough. That's a terrible test, but okay, so that's part one of getting this all to work on Heroku again, is that Circle CI tests need to pass. So let me check my chat here again just to make sure no one's yelling at me. We're going to commit these changes. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do before I do that? Dang, I should have tested this. I don't think I need iframe resizer included because we chose to do the embed from the CDN. And in the interest of keeping things slim, that seems best. So, I'm now, what I'm doing in a window you can't see is I'm committing these tests. And I should do this as two separate things. So, that's one, and then add back in a working test. Cool. So now I'm going to push this. That'll go up to Circle CI, which I will open in a new tab here for you to check out. We can watch tests run. Here we go. Watch those tests run. Oh, you know what? I might have removed... Yeah, I don't have a Circle CI directory in here anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that back in from the commit on the parent branch. Oops. Yeah, I don't think these tests are going to pass. There's no tests to run. What? It must still have the config from my prior tests. That's interesting. Test suite failed. What happened? Cannot find module prop types from joblisting.js. Oh, look at that. I don't have prop types in here. Huh. And that's probably a dev dependency, isn't it? We will move that. Okay, trailing comma. You don't like that comma. All right, I'm going to commit this and we'll push it and we'll watch the tests happen again. Dependency. You can watch this test run. I still think I should grab my Circle CI commit from the base branch. So we're going to, I'll show you how I'll figure out how to do that. This is the code on GitHub. I'm going to go into here and we're going to look at what commits we just commit. Actually, we're just going to pull up the history and we're going to, history, and there's only one commit. So we're going to grab that. So we'll do a git cherry pick, and then that hash 105 CD A1. Good. And then we'll probably end up pushing this again, but first let's see how those tests go. Looks like Circle got some updates. I don't remember these subtitles being in here. That's pretty cool. Okay, that didn't work. Not really sure what's going on here. I might be missing another dependency somewhere, but I still think I should try pushing that circle config. And so I did, and I will, and I'm gonna. And that was just the re-addition of this into here. In fact, there might be some goodness we have to add to the config to run with Create React App. Ooh, command lint not found. That is true, isn't it? Yes. Goodness. Okay. We got to go way back for this one. So we're going to do the same similar thing. We have to find commits related to setting up ESLint. Okay, so what it's saying is there's no lint command here. We're going to add one, but we need to do yarn add lint. That's not what I wanted. ESLint. Okay, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to add a script at the bottom. And I'm going to just consult my code that was in here to begin with from the branch from before we moved to Create React App. We had ESLint set up like so. And I need to grab my config file. Cherry pick. Actually, I want to see everything that's in that commit. No, that's not good enough. Okay, so I have to copy the whole file. We're going to get rid of the prettier plugin because that was making a mess of my life for a while there. So in here, I'm going to add this, save that. Get rid of prettier, and then I have to add back in these plugins. All of these, many of which should already be included. So I did something wrong. Keyword import is reserved. Oh God, what have I done? Add all of these lovely dependencies in here. course, we'll get rid of the prettier dependency. And hopefully I'll have a lint command back again. Sure do. And loads of lint problems. That's fun. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we'll go and solve those one at a time. Definition for rule prettier was not found. Why are we talking about prettier? Good. Bye. Props is defined but never used. Okay. This is going to be just some standard cleanupiness, but all in the name of nicer code. Unidentified. Undefined arrow body style. Heh. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom here. util.test.js. Good, we'll get rid of that. Job API has lots of issues. Ugh. Oh dear. Prefer default export. Okay. Oh my God. Now I'm just doing terrible, boring lint fixing on stream. That's maybe not the best content in the world. Sorry, y'all. We gotta get through it, though. Expect to return a value at the end of a function. Line 20. Unnecessary else after return. Yes, that's true. Okay, register service worker is a generated file from Create React App, so I'm just going to shut it off for that. In here, document is undefined. That should be a defined as a global inside of this. ESLint config globals. And I think that's an array. I think it works like that. It needs a, come on now, needs a comma at the end. No. Globals is the wrong type. Expected object but got document. And then this should be that doesn't get a comma. Making a mess here, sorry. Okay, market drop down. Wow, let me close this. Let me move this. Sorry. Okay, market dropdown.js. It is saying unexpected token equals. This is one of those funny things about classes. No, I think that's what I want. I don't know why it's complaining here. Okay, prop types should be in dependencies and not dev dependencies. We can fix that. I wonder what this is about. No restricted globals. ESLint is nan. Sorry if you hear that buzzing. I'm getting a call here. Okay, here's the rule. It says extends ESLint recommended property configuration. In JavaScript, nan is a special value for a number type. Because nan is unique in JavaScript by not being equal to anything, including itself, the results of comparisons to nan are confusing. Therefore, use number.isNan or global isNan to test whether a value is nan. Yes. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's what I was doing. Oh, it's complaining about a different rule. No restricted globals. Ah, I see. I need to specifically say number.isNan. Okay, that's cool. Didn't know that was a thing. Yep. In here, it's complaining about this equals again. I don't understand. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know how to get past those. Then app.js. I'm not a big fan of this syntax, but it does make sense. Basically just removes a step there. All right, we're gonna disable lint around these two guys. Now, I am properly confused. Apart from doing this, I don't know what else we would do in here. This doesn't seem like the correct type of error. let's see, components job list, 56. I think ESLint const can only be used in TypeScript. This probably has to do with my ESLint config here, and I think I have to put common JS in there. Let's see. I think that's what it boils down to. So it's part of this env guy. Yeah. I think that'll do it. Frustrating as always. Dang. Oh, how do I get rid of that? I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. All right. Well, this is stupid. I'm gonna end the stream for the day. I'll finish this stupid stuff offline and get this committed, and then next week we can get this back up on Heroku, work on some of the styling nonsense, and get this thing shipped up and shipped out. And then we can really start doing some interesting stuff with our jobs on the site. And before long, we'll have much more dynamic job content. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Hope you learned something today. I certainly did. Definitely an interesting stream. I'm glad we got the iframe to resize itself, and we'll pick up where we left off last week and make some more magic happen. You guys have a good one.